Today, more than 500 years later, the name of Nostradamus is famous. He is accepted by thousands of people all over the world as a prophet who foresaw the future with astonishing accuracy.
Michel de Nostradame est né à Saint-Rémy-de-Provence le 14 décembre en 1103. C'est sa maison. Michel grew up loving his grandfather Jean, who got him interested in astrology. He later attended the University of Montpellier, where he studied both medicine and astrology. He graduated in 1522 and began to call himself Nostradamus, which was the Latin version of his name. Après l'école, Nostradame est invité à la maison du philosophe Jules César Scaliger. Et Jean est trouvé en tant que guérisseur. Il se marie plus tard et a 2 enfants. Nostradamus became famous for curing whole towns with his herbal remedies and prescriptions to get fresh air, water, and vitamin C. Most of the other doctors of the time used bloodletting, vinegar, pagan rituals, and even penance. Malheureusement, tout en traitant le charbon, la femme de Nostradame et ses 2 enfants sont morts de la peste. La famille de sa femme l'a poursuivi et il l'a quitté parce qu'il a été marqué mauvais médecin. After being forced to leave the region, Nostradamus traveled around Italy and France freely from 1538 to 46, in which he treated victims of the plague. While in Salon de Croix, treating an outbreak, he met Anne Ponsard, who he married in 1547 and went on to have 6 children with. Nostradamus began to focus more on predictions in 1553 when he met a priest named Felice Peretti and kneeled before him, calling him His Holiness. 20 years after Nostradamus died, Peretti became Pope Sixtus V. Things like this began to happen after Nostradamus started to use meditation and astrology to map out the world and its future.
Nostradamus thought of himself as having a sort of mystic connection with the stars because he saw them as the mind of God. He said that the sky was like a what he called a burning mirror, and that was a concave mirror, like a shaving mirror, reflecting events on Earth. Events on Earth reflected the mind of God, which was up there.
En 1154, Nostradamus s'est mis à écrire les prophéties, ces célèbres versets prophétiques, dans sa langue. Ils ont été divisés en 10 sections, appelées siècles.
Prophecy has a rich and controversial history, but its most celebrated figure is, without a doubt, Michel de Nostradame, better known to us as Nostradamus. He was seen as a prophet of doom because of his dark visions of the future. But Nostradamus used astrology, magic, and medicine to look across space and time at all things.
Nostradamus was a very famous person in his own time, even before he started writing the things that made him famous. He was the court physician and astrologer to the Queen of France.
Primarily a physician, Nostradamus was a Renaissance man in many ways. Over 500 years after his birth, he is chiefly remembered for his book Les Prophéties, a collection of 1,000 visionary quatrains that he wrote between 1555 and 1558.
He planned 10 volumes, 1,000 predictions, of which only 942 survive. And they basically look at the profound flows and inclinations of the future. They're not written in stone. There are hundreds of prophecies that indicate alternative futures.
Nostradamus' material is clearly clothed in symbology and arcane references and open to different interpretations.
But many of the predictions proved eerily accurate. especially those that were fulfilled in Nostradamus' own lifetime. The most famous of them predicted the death of the King of France 4 years before it occurred. In July 1559, Henry II confronted Gabriel, Count of Montgomery, in a jousting tournament.
The young lion, he will surmount the old one, on the field of combat in single battle told.
Both men bore shields emblazoned with lions.
The younger lion, Count Montgomery, did not lower his jousting stick soon enough, which pierced through the golden visor of the king. He will pierce his eyes through a cage all golden. Count Montgomery, his jousting stick split into large splinters, one wounding the king in the throat, another just behind the eye, blinding him and going into his brain. The final line gives us the denouement, the epilogue to all of this. 2 wounds become 1, then dying in cruel death's cold. The king lingered for 10 agonizing days, and he finally died from peritonitis of the brain.
It is thought possible that Nostradamus predicted the French Revolution.
From the enslaved people, songs, chants, and demands, in the future by such headless idiots, these will be taken as divine utterances.
The ascendancy and fall of Napoleon.
From the simple soldier, he will aspire to empire. From a short robe, he will aspire to the long.
And Hitler's rise to power.
The greater part of the battlefield will be against Hister, when the child of Germany observes nothing.
It's believed that Nostradamus predicted 9/11 from the quatrain, "Earth-shaking fire from the center of the earth will cause tremors around the new city. 2 great rocks will war for a long time, then Arethusa will redden a new river," with the 2 great rocks referring to the Twin Towers, and the new city being capitalized because he's referring to New York City. Nostradame est le plus célèbre aujourd'hui parce que ses prédictions sur l'apocalypse en décembre de l'année 2012, mais il n'est pas entièrement cru parce qu'il parle aussi de la fin du monde en l'année 3737.
The recently discovered lost book of Nostradamus reveals drawings that may contain coded clues about what will happen in 2012. Like Nostradamus's quatrains, these drawings give dire warnings, and this popular prophet's immense stature makes them difficult to ignore.
The year 1566 saw a warm and mild summer in Salon de Provence, and during this time Nostradamus penned his final quatrain at the age of 63. Then, mysteriously, he closed his books forever. Now an old man, Nostradamus had become weak. His heart was failing.
He didn't know what to do about it because it couldn't be treated in his day. He didn't recognize the symptoms except as something that some of his patients had, and now he had it. He was constrained to stay in one room. He lived on a pallet at the side of the room near a window, and he had to be hand-fed, and he eventually died of congestive heart failure.
In a small stone church in Salon, a stone marks the tomb of the seer of Provence, Nostradamus.
Nostradamus himself leaves this description of his methods behind.
By the natural instinct which has been bequeathed to me by my ancestors, and adjusting and harmonizing this natural instinct in conjunction with my lengthy calculations, and emptying my soul, spirit, and heart of all care